Chosen one, right now, at this exact moment, there is something moving through your spirit that most people around you will never experience. A recognition, a signal that reaches far beneath thought or reason and lands in a place you have always known was there but rarely been able to name. You did not arrive here by accident. The sequence that brought you to this moment was not random, and what I am about to show you is something God has been waiting for you to see, not because you earned it today, but because the time has come and the delay has already cost you enough. There are people who will hear this message and walk away with a mild appreciation. And then there are the ones for whom this message is not optional, not metaphorically urgent, spiritually urgent. The ones who need it most do not always look like they do. They look composed. They look like they are managing. But on the inside, they are carrying something that was never meant to be held this long, and a part of them knows, in the knowing that lives beneath logic, that something has to shift. If that is you, every word that follows was placed here for you specifically. And God is not delivering this gently today, because there is no time left for a gentle approach. Before this message ends, God is going to confirm something through your body, through something you have carried your entire life and possibly never been told the meaning of. A mark, a sign etched into the center of your palm. Look at your dominant hand, the one you write with. Look at the three major lines crossing the center: the heart line, the head line, the lifeline. In certain hands, those three lines form the shape of the letter M, not drawn perfectly, but unmistakably present when you look with intention. If you see that shape, every word that follows is for you directly, because what that M has been trying to tell you is connected to why you are here and why the fullness you were made for has stayed just out of reach. The ones who carry this calling at its highest level of urgency are almost always the ones who have spent the most time being unaware of it. Not unaware in the sense of ignorant, unaware in the sense that no one ever showed them the full picture. No one ever explained the mechanism. And so, they have been living at a fraction of their design, not because they lacked faith, not because they lacked discipline, but because a specific kind of awareness was never activated. The prayers have been faithful, the desire has been real, but there is a door that has been open for years that no one pointed you toward. This message is that pointing. There are 5 signs that God uses to identify the ones who carry this calling at its most urgent level. 5 markers that, when you recognize them in yourself, will reframe everything you have been through and everything ahead. I am going to name each one. Notice not just whether they describe you, but what happens in your body when they do. Your body is going to respond before your mind gives it permission. Let that response tell you the truth. Type 777 inches. The comments right now if you sense this message was placed in front of you with intention. Let that be the first act of the awareness you came here to find. The first sign. You have spent most of your life feeling a pull you could not name. Not toward something visible, not toward a career someone handed you or a version of success that someone else imagined for you. A pull toward something truer, toward a life that existed just beyond the edge of what was in front of you. You have felt it in rooms that should have felt complete. You have felt it on mornings that were ordinary and should have been peaceful, but underneath the quiet there was a hum, a low, persistent awareness that you were supposed to be operating at a different altitude, and you have done what you were supposed to do with this feeling. You set it aside. You found gratitude for what was here. You told yourself it was unrealistic. You tried to be a person who was thankful for the ordinary. But the pull did not stop, because gratitude and settling are not the same thing. God never asked you to be grateful for a life that falls short of what He designed for you. He asked you to be grateful as you move toward it. The pull you have always felt is not delusion, it is navigation. The second sign. You have always known in a place beneath thought that you were made for more than what has been in front of you. Not more in the way of vanity or ambition that wants applause. More in the sense of capacity. There is a depth in you that the structures you have been living inside were not built to hold. You have completed what was in front of you and looked around and wondered if that was truly all there was. You have tried to fit. You have spent seasons telling yourself that fitting was the mark of a humble person, a faithful person. But humility was never meant to mean the suppression of what God placed inside you. The greatness in you has not been suppressed out of humility. It has been suppressed because the switch that activates it was never turned on. And the gap between what you sense yourself to be and what is currently visible is the only thing that is about to change. The third sign. You carry a heaviness that the people around you do not seem to feel in the same way. Not the heaviness of depression, though it wears that coat sometimes. A heaviness of perception. You feel things in rooms before words are spoken. You sense the weight of unspoken pain in the people you love. You absorb the atmosphere of spaces you move through in a way that leaves you more tired than the situation seems to call for. You have spent years wondering why you cannot simply turn the sensitivity down. The answer is not that something is broken in you. You were designed to carry signals that require a finely tuned instrument. The weight you feel is not a malfunction. It is the cost of operating at a level of spiritual awareness the people around you were not assigned to carry. The reason it has felt like burden instead of gift is that no one ever showed you how to hold it properly. And when something this sensitive has been operating without the right support, even the gift begins to feel like punishment. What you need is not less sensitivity. You need the right framework to make it powerful instead of draining. The fourth sign. You have survived things that by every reasonable measure should have broken you. Not survived in a way that left you unchanged. Survived in a way that left you transformed in places no one else could see. Seasons of loss that stripped what felt like everything. Moments of betrayal from people who were supposed to be safe. Times when the path collapsed and there was nothing visible to step onto. And yet, here you are, holding things together not with perfect pieces, but with the kind of grip that only develops when you have had to hold on in the dark. There is a resilience in you that cannot be taught. It has to be forged. The seasons that felt most like destruction were, in the hands of God, the seasons of your deepest formation. Every time you came through when the odds said you could not, something was being written into the structure of who you are. You did not survive by accident. You survived because what God designed you for required it. The fifth sign. This is the one God wanted to name directly. Look again at your palm. Look at those 3 lines. In certain hands, they form the letter M. This formation has been recognized across thousands of years of spiritual tradition as a mark carried by people of exceptional intuition, unusual depth, and a calling that exceeds the ordinary. Teachers, healers, leaders, visionaries, people placed here not to follow a path, but to forge one. And the reason God is drawing your attention to this now is not to give you something to feel special about. It is because the M has been on your hand your entire life, and you have been unaware of what it means. You have been unaware of what you are carrying. God has decided that the time for that unawareness ends here. There is a reason the awareness has been blocked, not blocked by your failure, not blocked by any lack of faith, blocked by something operating beneath your conscious decisions at a level your prayers and discipline were not designed to reach alone. There is a mechanism, a biological and spiritual mechanism that was designed to keep you connected to the full range of what God built into you. And when that mechanism goes dormant, which it does in almost everyone as the weight of adult life presses in on what was alive and open in childhood, The gap between what you sense yourself to be and what you are actually living shrinks from a door to a crack. In a moment, I am going to show you what that mechanism is and why God is naming it now. Because when you see it, everything that has felt like unexplained delay, like unanswered prayer, like potential that refuses to emerge, begins to make a different kind of sense. Stay with me. There was a study conducted in the 1960s that won the Nobel Prize, not in spirituality, in science. The neuroscientist Dr. Roger Sperry spent years studying something most people have never thought about: the two hemispheres of the human brain, the left and the right. And what he discovered changed the way science understood human potential forever. When both hemispheres are connected and operating together, something happens in the brain that cannot be produced by either hemisphere alone. A state of whole activation, a state that children live in naturally before the world teaches them otherwise. A state that produces the kind of clarity, insight, and creative power that the people we call geniuses seem to have access to while everyone around them did not. Dr. Sperry called the bridge between the hemispheres the genius switch, and what he found was that in most adults, that switch had gone dark. It did not go dark because of failure. It went dark because of pressure, because of the weight of performance, because of a world that rewards the left brain, the analytical, the logical, the defensive, and gradually trains the right brain into silence. The same world that once watched a child solve problems with breathtaking creativity watches an adult struggle to remember a name they knew yesterday. The same brain that once produced wonder on demand is now running at a fraction of its design. And the most painful part is this: the person living inside that diminished state often feels the gap. They sense that something has been lost. They carry the M on their palm. They feel the pull towards something more. But no one ever told them what happened, and no one ever told them it could be reversed. There is something I want you to see in the story of Joseph, not the version that gets simplified into a Sunday school lesson, the actual texture of what Joseph lived. He was 17 years old, and he had dreams that showed him a future his brothers could not imagine. Not because he was arrogant, because he could see. He carried a capacity for perception that set him apart, and the people closest to him could not tolerate it. They threw him into a pit, then they sold him. Then in Egypt, he was accused of something he did not do and thrown into prison. And at every stage of that descent, there must have been a version of the thought that says, I have the gift, I carry the calling, and yet here I am, at the bottom. What Joseph did not know in the pit was that God was not absent. God was positioning. Every layer of that descent was building in Joseph a wisdom that the throne required. Because the kind of leader Egypt needed could not be produced in comfort. He had to be formed by the pit. He had to know what it felt like to be forgotten, so that when the moment of remembering came, he would know what to do with it. And when Pharaoh called for him, and no one else could interpret the dream, Joseph walked into the room carrying everything the pit had built. And he walked out carrying everything the throne offered. The awareness was always coming. The timing was always held. What changed was that the moment finally arrived when God said, "Now it is time for you to see clearly." You carry something that Joseph carried, a perception that others have not known how to receive, a calling that has felt, at times, like the thing that set you apart was the very thing making your life harder. And like Joseph, you have been in your own version of the pit, carrying the gift without the activation, sensing the calling without the clarity to step fully into it. The question God is answering today is not whether the calling is real. The question he is answering is why the activation has been delayed. And the answer is the same answer Sperry spent his career uncovering: the genius switch, the bridge between who you sense yourself to be and who you are actually able to become. I want to name the identity God has been building in you through all of this, not as a label, as a recognition, because when you see yourself accurately, the way forward becomes clearer than any map. The first identity is the seer. You perceive what is not yet visible. You have always been able to walk into a room and feel the truth of it before a single word is spoken. You read people with an accuracy that sometimes frightens you. You sense shifts in the atmosphere before anyone names them. This is not anxiety. This is perception, operating at its highest level. And the seer who does not understand the gift either suppresses it or is consumed by it. What you need is the activation that allows the perception to become precision. The second identity is the cycle breaker. There are patterns in your family, in your history, in the generation that raised you, that were never meant to be passed forward. And somewhere in you, before you had the language for it, you made a silent agreement that the chain would end with you. That what was inherited would not be inherited again. The cycle breaker carries an unusual weight because the work is invisible to everyone around them. No one sees the healing that is happening. They only see the person who seems different, who pushes back, who will not simply accept what is offered. That difference is not a flaw. It is the assignment. The third identity is the wounded healer. What you have survived was not wasted. Every wound that you chose not to be defined by, every loss that you transformed into wisdom, every dark season that you carried without becoming it, has been building a reservoir of understanding that cannot be manufactured in a classroom or a seminar. The wounded healer does not help others from a position of having escaped suffering. They help from the position of having moved through it and come out carrying something that suffering uniquely produces. And God has been allowing the fullness of that healing in you to wait for this moment, when the tool is ready and the activation is possible. Type the words, "I see it," in the comments if you recognize yourself in any of these identities, not because it is a ritual, because the act of naming what is true about yourself is one of the ways the awareness begins to land in the body and not just the mind. Now let me show you what happens in the 3 areas of your life when the genius switch is dormant, because this is where the connection between the spiritual and the biological becomes undeniable. In your relationships, dormancy creates distance, not intentional distance, not the distance of not caring. The distance that comes from being unable to access the full depth of who you are in the presence of another person. When whole brain activation is suppressed, the capacity for genuine emotional resonance dims. You can be in the room without fully being in the room. And the people who love you sense it even when they do not have the words for it. Your spouse becomes a roommate. Your children become schedules to manage. Your friendships become obligations rather than anchors. And you know, somewhere underneath all of it, that you were designed for more depth than what is available to you right now. In your energy, dormancy creates the persistent tiredness that no amount of sleep fully resolves. When the 2 hemispheres of the brain are not communicating properly, the system runs inefficiently. It takes more processing power to do less. The mental fog you have been living with, the moments when the word you were reaching for vanishes, the feeling of effort where there used to be flow, these are not signs of aging. They are signs of a switch that needs to be turned back on. And in your purpose, dormancy creates the gap you have been feeling your whole life. The gap between the pull and the reality, between the M on your palm and the life that surrounds you. Between the calling you sense in your deepest moments and the ordinary momentum of the days that actually pass, there is a discovery that closes that gap. And God has arranged this moment so that you would hear about it. There is a team of neuroscientists who have been quietly working on this for years, led by a neurologist in New York City who who has spent 2 decades studying what happens in the brain at the moment of whole activation. His team took the Nobel Prize research of Dr. Roger Sperry and spent years asking one question: if the genius switch exists, and if most adults have lost access to it, is there a way to turn it back on? The early findings from that research are in the description below this message and in the pinned comment. I am going to tell you much more about what they found before this is over, but I wanted you to know it exists, and I wanted you to know that the discovery was built specifically for people like you, people who carry the M, people who feel the pull, people who have been waiting without knowing what they were waiting for exactly this. Before we go further, I want to give you a moment to breathe, not because what is ahead is difficult, because what has already been said deserves a place to land. You have been named today. The signs have been spoken, the identities have been seen, and for someone who has spent most of their life carrying depth that no one fully acknowledged, the experience of being seen accurately can produce a feeling that is unfamiliar. Something between grief and relief. Something between the ache of finally and the quiet of how long it took. Let that feeling be present. Do not rush it. God is not in a hurry here. He has been patient with you for years. He can afford to be patient for one more breath before we continue. What I want to give you now are 3 practices, not theories, not frameworks that require a perfect morning, a dedicated hour, or a version of you that already has everything figured out. 3 specific things you can do starting today that work with what God built into you and with the mechanism that science confirmed. And I want to be clear about something before I name them. These do not work because they feel good in the moment, though some of them will. They work because they are aligned with the way your brain and your spirit were designed to operate at full capacity. The feeling of alignment comes after. The practice comes first. The first practice is what I call the M activation. This is a 4-step practice. The full sequence takes less than 2 minutes. And the reason I am giving it to you in 4 steps, rather than as a general instruction, is that each step does something distinct, and collapsing them into one vague action removes the power. Here is the sequence. Step 1. Hold your dominant hand out in front of you at eye level. Look at the 3 major lines. Give them 30 seconds of your full, undivided attention, not a glance. Presence. The act of looking with intention at something your body has been carrying your entire life, and which no one ever told you was significant, is itself a form of waking up. It sends a signal to the parts of your brain that have been waiting for you to notice what is already there. Step 2. Say 3 sentences out loud, not in your head, out loud, because the voice activates auditory processing in a way that internal thought does not, and the combined effect of speaking and hearing your own declaration at the same moment fires a pattern in both hemispheres simultaneously. The sentences are these. Say, I carry what God placed in me. Then say, I am aware of what I am. Then say, the mechanism that was dormant is activating now. Speak them without rushing. Let each sentence land before the next begins. Step 3. 60 seconds of complete silence. This is the step that most people want to skip, and it is the step that makes the difference between a morning ritual and a genuine reset. The silence is the receive window. The declarations you just spoke need silence to settle into the body rather than dissolving into the noise of the next task. 60 seconds, eyes closed, both feet on the floor. Whatever thought rises during those 60 seconds, let it pass without following it. This is not meditation in the traditional sense. This is simply clearing the channel. Step 4. Name one specific thing that the person you are, the seer, the cycle breaker, the wounded healer, the one who carries the M, will do differently today than the person shaped by fear would do. Not a list, one thing. It can be a conversation you have been avoiding, a boundary you have not spoken, a direction you have been sensing but not trusting. Name it, speak it, and let it be the anchor point for the hours ahead. Give the M activation 7 consecutive mornings before you judge what it produces. The second practice is a discernment filter, because one of the most costly consequences of operating with the genius switch dormant is that decision-making becomes foggy. Not because you are not intelligent, because when the two hemispheres are not communicating properly, the signal between your deep knowing and your conscious choice gets interrupted. You feel the truth before you can access it. You sense the right answer before you can trust it. And so you second-guess, you defer. You make choices from the part of the brain managing fear rather than from the part that carries vision. The filter has 3 questions. When you are facing a decision that matters, before you answer anyone, hold these 3 questions in sequence. First, does this take me toward the life I sense I was made for, or away from it? Not the life that is comfortable. The life the pull in your chest has always pointed toward. Second, is this a door that is opening, or is fear propping it open to keep me where I am? Because fear manufactures urgency around the wrong choices and hesitation around the right ones. And third, if the version of me at 7 years old, before the world taught me to shrink, had to decide this without any hesitation, what would they choose? That unconditioned clarity is still in you. The filter gives it access to the present moment. The third practice is what I call the 3-breath reset. This is for the moments when the sensitivity you carry starts to work against you, when the weight of perception becomes more consuming than clarifying. Stop whatever you are doing. Place both feet flat on the floor. Place one hand over your heart. Take 3 slow breaths. On the first, bring in the word receive. On the second, bring in the word release. On the third, bring in the word